Welcome to a special monthly edition of Spirit Journey Collective, where we step away from interviews and dive deep into the collective energies of the upcoming month. For those who do not know, I am an intuitive tarot reader and spiritual channel. This episode will be focused on exploring the energies of the month ahead, such as themes, both good and challenging areas to be mindful of, as well as a channeled higher self message overall. As this is a collective reading, it is important to always remember to take what resonates and leave what doesn't. It is my belief that if you are tuning in today, it is because there is some form of guidance and wisdom waiting for you. But it doesn't mean the entire reading will resonate, although it may. My name is Sarah Ty, and I am your host and channeler for the upcoming reading ahead. And without further ado, let's dive in. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Spirit Journey Collective. I am so excited to be starting a brand new year with all of you. This is actually coming up on my 1-year anniversary with this podcast, which is just unbelievable, but I'm just so excited to see where it goes. I really love doing this. It's definitely a labor of love, and I'm just so thrilled that I'm still here, right? That I still am doing this and that you're joining me and here with me. So thank you. If you've been with me there for the whole year or just for some of it, thank you so much for being supportive and being a part of my journey. It means so much. So if you've been listening for a while, you probably already know that it's time for the monthly collective reading for the month of January. And I'm definitely going to get into that, but I'm pretty excited because I feel called to do something a little different than what I did before. Not much, just slightly different. I pulled an anchor card for the year of 2025. And what I'm going to do is incorporate this energy throughout every month. So it'll be an energy that we'll be working with overall. And then each month will be kind of the faucet and the energy around what we need to know around the card. So it'll be kind of a combination of the energy for the whole year plus the nitty-gritty for each individual month. So it's something different. I feel called to do it, so I'm excited to see where that goes. So I'm going to go over that first, and then from there we'll go into our typical reading, which will include a theme, what's working for us energetically for the month of January, a challenged area, and then a higher self message. So that part's the same. We're just going to start with the anchor card for the year 2025. And the card that I pulled, I really love it. It wasn't one that I was expecting, but I think that this is a very beautiful energy to work with this year. It was the 9 of Cups reversed. So the 9 of Cups upright, I want to talk about that first, even though that's not necessarily the message. It's definitely the goal. It's the energy we want to create. So the 9 of Cups upright is all about being open enough to wish and to dream in all the possibilities and doing it in a way where your heart stays open, you believe or know it's going to happen, it's possible, and there's just no doubt. You're just dreaming, fantasizing, wishing, and truly believing that it's possible. And when it's reversed, which is how it showed up for the year 2025, it's more about how do I get to that space of being able to dream and wish again, even though I've done that in the past and I've likely had those dreams or wishes dashed and they were taken away from me. So the thing is, most of us have been in a position where we really wanted something and we really hoped for it and we really dreamed for it. And we got our hopes up and we allowed ourselves to really think, oh my God, this is it. It's going to happen. And then it didn't. And then the door closed on that opportunity. And most of us will feel resentment, will feel frustrated, will feel almost like, oh, I'm not doing that again. That was not good. And so then we shut down. And when we shut down, we protect ourselves from getting our hopes dashed and getting our hopes up and having it fail. But then we also block ourselves from allowing our dreams and wishes to still be there. When we close down to keep the bad out,
we also close and wall off our heart from the good too. So the invitation and the anchor card and the energy for the year 2025 is how can we allow ourselves to believe again, believe in all the possibilities, be open, imagine it, allow yourself to really believe, yes, I can have this thing, whatever it is, whether it's calling in a relationship or a career or starting a hobby or whatever it is, believe that you can have it. And so that's a lot to ask, right? Especially when you have been hurt in the past when doors didn't open or they closed right when you thought that it was the right timing and the right thing. The invitation around the Nine of Cups is to be open regardless of if things work out or don't, which is really hard. It's basically saying if that door closes, it's just because that particular door was not meant for you. It was not the avenue that was going to take you to your highest self. So in that situation, it's more like, okay, so that door closed. Oof, okay, I have to sit with that. I'm going to allow my heart to stay open. I'm not going to wall off. I'm going to believe that there's going to be another opportunity that's going to be much more aligned and be better than the one that I thought I wanted or I thought was going to be the one. And what that allows you to do is a couple of things that happen. One, there's this surrender that happens where you're kind of giving it to higher power because most of the time our dreams and our goals and our projects and all the things that we're wanting to bring into fruition, 9 times out of 10, they don't turn up the way that we expect or the way that we want them to. In fact, how many times have you said, or any of us said for that matter, oh my gosh, this isn't exactly what I wanted, but it's so much better than what I could have ever imagined. We've all been in that situation where we thought it had to be one way, that way didn't work out, but then uncannily there was something else that worked out even better. And then we're able to be really happy that the first thing didn't work out. It's that same idea of working on ourselves for the year 2025 to be more open, to be more in our dreams, in our wishes, in our fantasies, and really believing that we can have whatever it is that we're desiring, and then being open to allow it to come in however it's meant to. So if a door is looking pretty promising and then it shuts unexpectedly, don't shut down. Don't immediately assume, oh my gosh, it's not going to happen ever, and wall yourself off to any possibilities in the future. Understand that that particular door was just not meant for you, and there's another one that's going to open that's going to be so much more aligned. And to keep your heart open and to keep dreaming big and to keep wanting those things that you're desiring and knowing that it is possible for you. So that's a big one for the year 2025. We're really being asked to keep our heart open and to keep dreaming big and believing in it, despite our past experiences that might evidentially show us that that's not that isn't possible. But how would we know, right? If you walled off after that last opportunity flopped, how would you have known that there wasn't another one waiting? Because if you wall yourself off, you're going to miss the opportunity that's trying to open itself up for you because you're not looking for it anymore. So the invitation is dream big, believe it's possible, and keep your heart open no matter what happens. Because this card is all about possibilities and about attaining your dreams. All right, so that was our anchor card. And we'll kind of touch base every month and kind of see how it pertains to our current message, which I'll get into that in a moment. But every month we'll just kind of touch base with the Nine of Cups and see where we're at with that energy. All right, so the month of January, we have our theme, we have what's working for us energetically, we have the challenged area, and then we have our higher self message overall. And overall, like this message is really cool. It's very uplifting. So I'm excited to share this one. Our theme is the Queen of Wands. I have a lot of favorite cards, so it's really unfair for me to try to say this is my absolute favorite because I have several, but this is one of my favorite cards. The Queen of Wands is all about tapping into your magic, tapping into the thing that you're so good at, the gifts that you bring to this world that only you can bring the way that you do. And the Queen of Wands, she's creative, she's powerful, she's graceful. She doesn't operate from the place of like over dominating. She comes in powerful, but she comes in graceful. She knows who belongs in her life and who doesn't, who has earned a seat in her life and who hasn't. She's a leader. She's confident. But most of all, she knows her magic. She knows that she has gifts that she brings to this world in a way that only she can bring it. And she owns it. She fully embodies it. And so our theme for the month of January is how can you harness that inner queen? Likely, if you're listening to this, and I always say take what resonates, leave what doesn't. So all of this may not resonate with you, but it might. All of it might. It just depends on who you are and where you're coming from. But likely you're tapping into your magic right now. Either you already know what it is, you know what your superpowers are, you know what your gifts are that you bring to the table. And so you're learning to really harness it and own it. Or you could just be barely experimenting with it and kind of getting a feel for like realizing, oh, when I do this thing, not only does it fulfill me and light me up, but I'm seeing that there's benefits that are coming from this, that in some way it's giving back to the world. And I'm also seeing how unique what I bring is and how it's something that only I can do the way that I do it. And so I love this so much, especially for being the new year. It's a great way to start the new year. The theme is what's your magic? What's your superpower? What are your gifts? And then working on owning it and embodying it and believing in it and learning how to tap into your power, learning how to tap into your creativity and your leadership and your grace, all of that. But mostly, like I said, it's about your gifts and your superpower. And some of the shadow sides of the Queen of Wands is imposter syndrome, because a lot of times, especially when we're just starting to kind of connect with that part of us, there could be that little voice inside of us going, who am I to own this gift, to say that I'm good at anything, or to say that I can only bring this gift the way that I do. Who am I to say that? And so there is that imposter syndrome that will likely come up. Don't be surprised when it does, or if it does. The Queen of Wands is all about learning to embody that despite those fears of not being enough. Because the thing is, we all have unique gifts. We all do. There's not one single soul on this earth that didn't come here equipped with some kind of a superpower or gift that only they can harness in the way that they do. And I say it that way because, for instance, I'm not the only tarot reader out there. There are millions of tarot readers out there who are incredible. And I don't ever want to say that I'm the only way, but I have learned that there's a way that I show up as a reader that makes me unique. And so certain people will be drawn to me as a reader because of that, just like certain people will be drawn to other readers for the same thing. So it's not about finding anything that's so unique that no one else does it at all, although that is always a possibility. But it's not about finding something so unique that no one else does it at all. It's about finding that unique thing for you that you bring in your own way that no one else can replicate, because it's only you that can bring it this particular way. And so that's our theme, is harnessing and embodying the Queen of Wands, which I just love so much. It's such an uplifting way to start 2025. Moving into the next card, which is a positive energy and aspect for in the month of January, we have the Six of Swords. I love this one too. In a lot of ways, it does tie into that Nine of Cups anchor card that I went into, which I'll get to in a moment, like how it correlates. But the Six of Swords ultimately is about surrender. It's about releasing our death grip on the wheel of life, right? Of like the car we're driving, kind of like releasing that death grip and trusting that there's something else bigger than us that's going to get us where we want to go. And the analogy I love to use for the Six of Swords is, imagine you're in a rowboat and you're trying to get to an island. And you can see the island, it's, in the distance. Our natural inclination is going to be to grab the oars and row ourselves to the island. And actually, that's what higher self is saying. No, no, drop the oars, drop them. You don't need them. Because higher power, whatever it is you believe in, whether it's God, universe, divine, whatever you want to call it, This higher power is going to be what's going to get you to that island. And the thing is, because us humans, we like control. So dropping the oars and letting go of the control is really, really difficult for us. That's why it's called surrender, because you have to literally surrender. But if you could take the oars and say, I'm not dropping these oars, and row yourself to the island, and you'll get to an aspect of what you're desiring in that particular way. But when you're able to drop the oars and surrender, something happens because when you force yourself to the island, that's when you have that idea of, oh, it's going to work out exactly the way that I want it. You want it to show up the way you're expecting it to. And then when it doesn't, that's when you start to get disappointed. Nine of Cups, reversed energy. That's when it doesn't show up exactly the way you imagine, exactly the way you want it. And then you start to get disappointed, or it doesn't, certain things are missing. Whereas what the Six of Swords is asking us to do is drop the oars and trust that you will get there in the timing that you're supposed to, in the divine timing that you're supposed to, meeting people along the way. Because if you're just drifting in the boat, you're getting closer to the island, guess what? You might bump into another boat with more people who have networks, who have connections, who are interested in being a client if it's a business opportunity, right? You might bump into someone who is the bridge. So let's say you're looking to get a new home. What if you bump into someone who's selling the home that's most aligned with you, or the realtor that's dealing with that home, right? So when you let go of the oars and you just allow things to flow into place and you're trusting that they will, you'll get to the island, but you'll get there in the way that is most beneficial to you, by meeting certain people, having certain opportunities, having certain experiences that you would totally miss if you were to just grab those oars and beeline your way to that island. So what's working for us is this huge invitation to surrender and drop the oars and trust that, okay, all right, I know what I'm desiring out there. I have my dreams. I have my goals. I have my end visions in a sense, but I'm going to release how it happens. I'm going to release my expectations on what it's going to look like. I'm going to trust that something bigger than me is going to get me there. And not only that, but when you look at the theme, which is the Queen of Wands, it's, instead of focusing so much on the how, focus more on who are you? How can you show up as your best self? How can you start living from that space of, I've already reached my goal, without feeling like, you have to already be there? Why don't you focus on you and then let the how and the let the how be the higher powers department, while you just focus on being the best you that you could be, and working on your magic and honing it and trusting it and believing it and being authentic. Like, focus on that and trust that while you're doing that, you're going to be meeting the people that you're supposed to meet. You're going to be having experiences you're supposed to have. And eventually, yes, you will get to that island, but it will be in a way that you're not able to understand or imagine now, but it'll be so much better than what you've already tried to imagine. So the challenged area is the Lovers reversed. I love that it's reversed because there is an element of awareness around this particular one, which is really, really good, because at least if there's a level of awareness, there's something that can be done about it. But basically, our challenged area for the month of January. So coming back to dreaming big and wanting to reach those goals and those dreams, or surrendering to get to this island to get your dreams, right? The Lover speaks to feeling like your worth is dependent on reaching that end goal. So, okay, once I get to that island, then I'll be worthy, then I'll be whole, then I'll be complete. It's that mentality of feeling like it's about the end game, and if you don't get to it, then you're gonna be lacking in something. You're not gonna be enough. So that's the challenged area, because that is 100% not true. It's the dangled carrot mentality. Once I get that carrot, then I'll have what I need. But the truth is, you have everything you need right now. Coming back to that theme, the Queen of Wands, you are already everything that you need to be. It's already in you. Your superpowers, your gifts, it's already there. It's just about owning it and embodying it and living in it. But it's already there. There's nothing outside side of you that you don't already have within you now. You're already whole. You're already complete. We're not, there's no one out there walking as incomplete souls. We're already complete as we are right now, without all the expectations or all the dreaming or all the goals. It's nice to have those so we kind of know what we want and where we're going, but our worth is not at stake if we don't get it. So again, being aware, I feel like most likely, again, if you're listening to this, you're already working on that element of worth and self-love. Like, this is probably not a new concept for you. You logically probably already know that you are enough and that you are worthy, right? But sometimes our logical brain and knowing is not the same as what's happening emotionally and internally. So you can logically be like, well, no, I understand the concept of being whole. I get it. But are you living from that space, or are you still making decisions and living from a space of lack, living from a space of feeling like you have to chase and earn your worthiness? What do your behaviors look like? Are you able to drop the oars and trust in the higher power and surrender, or is that need for control you trying to make sure you get there so that way you don't lose your worth by not getting there? So the challenge area is to really work on your self-worth and to not get caught up in that carrot dangling mentality and feeling like once you get it, then you'll be what you need, and understand you already are what you need. Everything you need is already in here. You already have it. So that could be a challenge area for all these things, feeling like, well, once I get to my inner queen, then I'll be whole. No, she's already there. Your inner queen's already within you. You don't need to go looking for her outside of you. Once I reach that goal and I start dreaming big, then I'll be whole. No, the dreaming big, being open is what unlocks what we desire, but there is no worth or end game that's going to say that if we don't get it, then we're not enough. So it's all about knowing that you are enough and you are worthy, and worthy enough to dream, worthy enough to believe in possibilities and believe that you can have it, worthy enough to trust that everything that you desire is not only possible, but you are already worthy of it now, as you are. So the final card that came through, which I love, this is the higher self message overall. It's the Ace of Pentacles. I love this for so many reasons. It's basically saying that all these invitations coming through, which are ultimately, when you look at the overall theme of all these cards, they're all basically saying the same thing. It's all talking about surrender and believing in yourself, stepping into your power, letting yourself be open to dreams and possibilities and believe it's possible, all of that. The Ace of Pentacles is literally saying that the opportunity is already here. Like, the Ace of Pentacles represents the universe giving you a seed. And so we have free will. You have two choices. You could take the seed and put it in a drawer and do absolutely nothing with it, which means you're not looking for your superpower or your gifts. You're not trying to embody your authentic self. You're not going to surrender because you'd rather try and control the situation. You're going to constantly chase things outside of you to fulfill your worth because you don't feel like you're already inherently worthy. And you're going to keep yourself afraid of letting yourself believe in big things because you don't want to get your hopes dashed again. So you're going to play small, and you're going to basically stay logical and analytical, and you're not going to take any risks or believe in anything bigger because you've already learned evidentially from past experiences that you can't have it anyway. Okay, so that would be equivalent of putting the seed in the drawer. Or you could take that seed and you could plant it and you can water it and you can cultivate it and you can take care of the little sprouts that start coming out of the earth and the soil and let it turn into something beautiful, going to eventually become a thriving garden, okay? And what that looks like is saying yes to your superpower and your gifts and figuring out what they are. If you don't already know, get curious. What do you love to do? Like, start there. What do you love to do? What's something that you're really good at? Maybe you're really good at seeing things that other people can't see, right? Maybe you're really good at organizing things in a way that most people can't. There's all sorts of ways that our superpowers and our gifts can be present, but when you plant that seed, you're choosing you. You're choosing to find out what those gifts are. And if you already know what they are, you're choosing to hone them and get better at it and embody it. And then focus on trusting those gifts and stepping into your power and really just tapping into that inner queen that's already there for you. And that also means choosing to trust that higher power and surrender, drop the oars, say, okay, I don't know how this is going to work out, but I know something bigger has got my back, and things are going to fall into place. And I'm not going to look for it. I'm not going to try and understand it. I'm just going to trust and kind of surrender and let go of the oars and just see what happens. And then work on knowing that you're already worthy. Work on knowing that whatever it is you're hoping that island's going to bring you, you can already do that for yourself now. That whatever the island is going to bring you is nothing that you don't already have within you. And then coming back to the whole work of 2025, you're going to choose to believe that you can have whatever it is you're desiring. You're going to choose that it's already yours, that it's already possible for you, that if an opportunity that you get really excited about doesn't pan out, it's just because that particular opportunity was not the one. And you're going to stay open and you're going to believe, okay, that door closed. That's just because another better one is waiting to open. And then keeping your heart open to receive it when it's ready. That's what it looks like when you choose to plant that seed. And so with this showing up, it's basically saying, it's up to you. It's completely up to you. But 2025, you can either stay shut down or you can believe and broaden your horizons and really know that you deserve it. You're worthy and you're already whole. So everything you desire is already right there. So yeah, this is a really cool reading, especially for being January, start of the year. I'm just so excited for it. And I really hope that if you listened and followed this, I know it was probably a little longer than my normal monthly collective readings are. So if you did listen to the whole thing, thank you so much for sticking through it and being here with me. But I really, truly hope that you were able to take something from this and that it gave you some guidance and clarity that maybe you were seeking or needing. And most of all, I hope that you all have a really beautiful 2025. I mean, I'll be here every month to tap into the energies and share what I'm seeing, of course, but Happy New Year. Thank you for being here. And thank you for joining me today. Thank you for joining me for past collective readings or podcast episodes with amazing guests and just being a part of this podcast journey as a whole. Because like I said, I'm coming up on my first year and I'm just feeling so blessed to be here. So thank you. And I will see you next month.
Are you in the need of guidance around love, career, family, life, or purpose? Embark on a spiritual journey inward with an intuitive tarot reading. Depending on what you're needing and looking for, I offer private one-on-one sessions as well as personalized email readings. It doesn't matter what the question is. A reading with me provides connection with your higher self, offering curated personal messages, or what I like to refer to as spiritual roadmaps, guiding you to the future outcome you desire. Readings are insightful and affordable. If you'd like more information or to schedule a reading with me, please see the link below. Thank you for joining me on another inspiring episode. Remember, your purpose is a unique and unfolding path. I hope these conversations have ignited a spark within you. Until next time, keep exploring, growing, and embracing the beautiful adventure of connecting with your purpose. Stay tuned for more meaningful conversations. If you enjoyed the episode today, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And thank you for joining me on this journey.